What is up? How are y'all doing? How are y'all feeling? If you are new here, I am Raina Swan, and I'm so happy you are here. So I finally finished my third Freida McFadden book, and we're here to talk about it. A lot of you guys did not like this book. A lot of you guys were extremely grossed out. A lot of you guys said that this book was so mind-bending that I just needed to get into it. So that's what I did, and we're gonna talk about it. Okay, so how I like to do my reviews, I like to dissect it a little bit. I like to give ratings for the plot, the delivery, the writing style, the characters, the suspense factor, originality, and then just give an overall rating, okay? So this rating for each layer was pretty like standard, pretty like straight across the board. So let's get into the plot. So we have Eve, who has a seemingly perfect life, and she's a math teacher at Case Him High, and everything is great. She has a charming husband, Nate, and he also works there. He's the English teacher there. And, you know, life is good up until a student named Addie returns back to school after being like caught in a student teacher scandal that rocked the whole school and just made Addie like an outcast. And you really get to see right off the bat how unhinged Eve is. Like, she comes out the gate looking like the perfect teacher, but as things go on, her life just starts to unravel, and you get to side-eyeing Eve a little bit, because I'm like, you're grown, okay? You of all people should not have these strong feelings towards this little girl who clearly, you know, is looking for a little extra attention because she ain't getting it at home, okay? So Addie, she's just a young girl who now has to deal with a lot of rumors, a lot of harsh realities when it comes to being around the other students at school, because kids are mean. They're assholes. And if no other book proves that, this book proves that. Okay? And so for the plot, I gave the plot a standard 3.5, 4 stars, because the storyline wasn't like super extensive and like off the wall, but you know, there were some moments where the tension was so high that you just kept wanting to flip the page over and over and over again. So the plot, good, okay? As for the delivery, like I said, Freida does a good job of writing a story so well that nothing feels like it's not necessary. At least in this book. There wasn't a moment where I was just like, okay, let's wrap this shit up. Because I'm good for a let's wrap this shit up moment, okay? So the delivery was good. The reading was easy to follow. Now, I will say there was some loose ends that Freida could have tied up in the end. So if you read this book, towards the end, when things get a little crazy, just a little shaky, stuff just don't be adding up. And Freida forgets to close a lot of these doors, okay? And she kind of forgets to make 1 + 1 = 2, you know? So the delivery and the writing style, I would say, I'd give it like a 3.5, 4. Okay, like there was some loose ends she didn't tie together, but I feel like the twist carried the book, and he's just like, who cares? Like, yeah, it kind of made sense, but it didn't, but it's okay, you know? As far as like the characters, Eve, she is a hot mess, okay? Eve is a hot mess, and one thing I was kind of like annoyed with is how Freida wrote Eve to have this shoe addiction, and anytime we saw Eve in the story, she was wearing Jimmy Choo and Louis, and she had all the shoes, y'all. And I'm like, Freida, we don't care what type of shoes this lady's wearing. Like, get to the point. So Eve, hella annoying. Why is you beefing with a child who's clearly being, you know, bullied and manipulated? Come on now, like, do better. Addie, you get to side eyeing her because while she is a child, it's just like, girl, you doing a lot. Where's your mother? Why she ain't doing her part to make sure you okay? Why you ain't in therapy? Why do you even still go to this school? Let's just start there. I know if my child had, you know, a little situation, I'm pulling her. I'm definitely pulling her out. Now, I won't go in on Addie too much because when I was a young teeny bopper and hot in the pants, I too had a little incident, and y'all just getting all up in my business. But, you know, there was this guy that I was dating, you know, because I thought I was grown, and, you know, he would come and watch me cheer, and I was, you know, I was that girl. The man could have possibly been in his mid-20s. Like, now that I'm thinking about it, and the thing about it is, I knew that he was way too old for me. I knew it was inappropriate, and I knew he shouldn't have been picking me up from school. Because there was a moment where he had pissed me off. I cut him off, and he was blowing my phone up. And I said to my friend, this how I knew, this how y'all know that I knew I shouldn't have been talking to him. I said to my friend, now he better leave me alone before I take these messages and expose his ass. So I knew what I was doing. So we always like to say, like, oh, they're just kids, they're being manipulated, they don't know any better, they're the adult and the adult knows better. Yes, that is true. But I am a witness that these kids, they do be knowing. And they think they can handle it. But, you know, of course, now that I'm older, I'm like, okay, girl, you should not have been talking to him. Like, what was you thinking? Like, that was wild. And I could give a little bit more tea about that situation, but for the sake of time and embarrassment, I won't. Okay, so Nate's character, he seems charming. He seems like a really good, dedicated math teacher. But right off the bat, y'all, Nate gave me the ick. I was like, there's something about this man. There is something about him. I know a fool when I see one. Like, I know a fool when I see one. Okay? So I'm not going to say too much, but I was just like, what Drake say? I got my eyes on you. Yeah, very much so. Maddie, that little bully, like I said on Instagram, somebody should have tripped her little string bean head ass. Like, somebody should have just tripped her in the hallway and just did the 8-town stomp on her because she was pissing me off. And, you know, Freida tried to redeem her in the end, but I was just like, no, you don't get no, I don't, Addie, back up, Addie, no, back up. I think that was the girl named Maddie. Was it Maddie? Child, I know her name wasn't Maddie. But I'm just gonna call her Maddie. But the little bully girl, I don't even know her name, but I know it wasn't Maddie. I know it wasn't Maddie. Anywho, so yeah, Mr. Tuttle, I really wanted to get into what that situation was a little bit more. I mean, she touched on it a little bit, but I was just like, there was something had to be there for these people to accuse you of doing something with this little girl. So I just wanted a little bit more of that. So as far as like the characters, I gave the characters 5 stars. Everybody played their unhinged role. Everybody did their thing. There wasn't a likable character in sight, which made for a good time. As far as like the suspense factor, Freida did a very good job of spoon feeding you each chapter. It wasn't too much. It was just enough every chapter. And then towards the end, it was like boom, 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 boom. And then the epilogue came and you was like, whoa. And then you closed the book and your head was spinning. And then you just was like, oh my God, what did I just read? Like, girl, huh? Yeah. Originality, what did I give that? Okay. I think for suspense, I gave the suspense factor like a 4.5. Originality, 4. Because while we have seen this story on Lifetime and, you know, movies and stuff, there were some things I was just like, oh, okay. Like, that's an interesting spin, you know. My overall rating, I gave it a 4. I started off wanting to give it a 5, but I was like, there was some things she could have tied in a bow a little bit better. But overall, I gave it a 4. You should read this if you can overlook inappropriate relationships in fiction. Not in real life, but in fiction. If that doesn't make your stomach churn and you can handle it, you should read this. You should read this if you like your characters messy. You should read this if you like unreliable narrators. You should read this if you like twists and turns that's gonna have you thinking about it later on in the day. You should not read this if you hate age gaps. If that's not your thing, then this book is not for you. Okay? So, now that that's out of the way, I need a favor. I don't ever ask y'all for nothing. Okay, I'm lying. But I need a favor. I need you to tell me in the comments what Freida McFadden book I should read next, because this is only like my 3rd book from her, and I know she has a long, lengthy catalog. So I'm slowly making my way through. Up here in the corner, I have that last book at the end right there. That's The Housemaid. So I could get into that. I read chapter 1 and I was like, oh, the block is hot. The feds is out. Somebody's going to jail. Okay? So I did do a little taste test for that, but you know, there might be some other books out there that you feel like are better than The Housemaid that Freida has written. Also, keep in mind, I'm not really a series girly. I like to be one and done, hit it and quit it and just move on. So The Housemaid does feel like a big commitment for me. But if that's her best work and you feel like that's the best she got, or that's the next best thing, put in the comments, let me know. I hope you guys are enjoying your day. I hope you guys are enjoying BookBiz as much as I am. And yeah, take care of yourself, drink your water, eat well, live well, be blessed. I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.